The video you are about to see seeks to demonstrate the beneficial application of herbs to various disorders in the human body. But it is stressed that the contents of this video are in no way a substitute for personal supervision by qualified professional medical personnel. People with health problems should consult their physician.
I believe there are herbs against every illness. So did Priest Knipe, one of the best-known herbalists in Europe. Using herbs to treat illnesses is older than the existence of human beings. Even meat-consuming animals like cats and dogs cure themselves by eating grass. I will give you a more precise example later on in this video.
We are going to show you how you can make your own medicine at home without diminishing its healing powers. Here are some tips on how you can make your own tea, oils, creams and tinctures. This not only helps you save money, but it gives you the certainty that you use the best quality for your health. The advice is based on the practical experience of Harald Tietze and results which other people have achieved with good and fresh herbs.
In the following sequences, I will give you practical tips how to grow medicinal herbs in your own garden and how to use them.
In the world, there are about 10,000 plants which we know about. But what is the use of them if we cannot obtain the herbs in good quality to help us? When he started with his herbal nursery, more and more sick people came to ask him which herb could be used for a specific illness. The people were always astonished at the number of questions Harald asked, because they thought there was only one herb per illness. By questioning, he only wanted to find out the cause of the illness. It is not enough to know that we have pains due to rheumatism or if we suffer from an allergy, for example.
Never take one herb over a long period.
There are exceptions, as for instance with the nettle. The Prostate has to be taken by old men for many years. It is advisable to take as many herbs as possible for one specific illness. Each one of us think about our health, and being healthy we do not want to become sick, which is normal. It is therefore advisable to drink as a prevention various herbs for blood cleansing and better digestion. If there is a heart problem, however, it is necessary to have a diagnosis, which usually has to be done by a doctor. Headaches and back pains can have many causes. One should refrain from taking painkillers in large quantities. Instead, it would be advisable to think how this illness came about. It could be the result of many things, like environment, stress, and especially diet. The next step is to find a remedy for the illness. In the last 50 years, there's been a lot of negative influences on our surroundings, and our organisms can't change quickly enough to the new ways of eating. Far too many of us are ill and suffer by growing old prematurely. Everyone knows they have to grow old, but only a few think about their health, and we make mistakes during the best years of our lives. We've known for many years that herbs can help us, and Harald believes there is a herbal remedy for every disease, but the herb has to be used wisely. Care should be taken not to disturb the natural balance in extracting the effective parts of the herb, only to have to take tablets again. It is best to take every part of the plant, and fresh herbs can be eaten directly from the garden. For example, a fresh wormwood leaf can be chewed for heartburn. The result can be noticed very soon. With the fresh plant, we can immediately prepare a tea. Of course, it is necessary in this case to put more leaves into the cup than it is with dried leaves. Fresh plant juice can be extracted, which for some illnesses is the best and only solution. For instance, calendula and ladies' bed straw. A paste can be made from the fresh herbs or crushed herb leaves, as with wild cabbage and pentane ribwort. The success in using medicine herbs depends, of course, on the quality of the product. In Harald's opinion, it is best to plant the herbs in your own garden. Then one knows its quality and that no chemicals have been used or sprayed that contain poison. One has confidence in one's own product, which also contributes to the success. Who hasn't got 1 to 2 meters of soil to use as a garden? You should make sure when buying herbs that they have been grown organically, and find out if the harvest took place in the sun, in the dew, or beginning of flowering, and what is very important, when the harvest took place. Good herb books advise that good herbal tea should not be stored longer than a year. Of course, there are exceptions. For instance, the Angelica root, which still has its healing power after 3 to 4 years if stored hermetically sealed. A plastic bag should not be used as a container for medical herbal tea. We will show you an example of a good method of storage. Outside, cellophane protection, and inside, a paper bag. This is the best storage. By the way, alder bark is a very good laxative. Alder bark should be kept at least for 1 year before usage. The shepherd purse, on the other hand, is useless after 3 months. All commercial herbal teas should show the expiry date, or the harvest date. This is very important, as old tea is no longer effective. If, for instance, one only feeds horses and cows with old hay, the result would be noted very soon. The vet is the only one who's the happy one. The following herbs can be planted in your own garden. True wormwood. Amongst the herbs, the real wormwood and Centurium umbellatum are very bitter. But the radical healing ability of this herb is held in high esteem. No other herb works so quickly to relieve heartburn, indigestion, chronicae, gastritis, or liver congestion. The wormwood regulates the functions of the stomach and the gallbladder and promotes good digestion. Despite the fact that it creates an appetite, it is a good tea for losing weight in a natural way. Herbal books recommend it for strengthening the heart, lungs, and stomach. It cleanses the bowels and strengthens the blood circulation. One drinks 1 to 2 cups of wormwood tea a week if needed, using half a teaspoonful per quarter litre of water. Pour boiling water over the tea, then leave it for 5 minutes. 1/3 of the cup should be taken before each meal. Warning: overuse can be dangerous and cause the exact opposite to the desired effect, and can cause addiction. The bush originates from Russia and grows up to 1 metre, and will protect your garden against insects. Wormwood spray is made up as follows. Let 10 litres of water with 1/4 kilogram of fresh wormwood stand for 2 to 3 weeks, and the insect spray is finished. You will notice this biological spray is finished when it has a terrible smell. Ants, greenfly, and caterpillars can be repelled. Yarrow is grown on dry soil and grows wild in some places, along roads and meadows. The plant grows up to 80 centimetres and forms a carpet through its branching roots. The flowers are picked during the sunshine, but as with all herbs, it has to be dried in the shade. According to the Roman Plinius, it was the medicine doctor Achilles who first discovered the healing facilities of yarrow. In Austria, it's called the belly pain herb. The palatable contents of the yarrow is not the only treatment against stomach and bowel troubles, but like ladies' mantell and ladies' bedstraw, it is also an excellent remedy against women's disorders. Father Knipe says that a lot of women's problems could be avoided if they would take yarrow. Not only women, but also men with circulation problems, which are the cause of many illnesses, like headaches, dizziness, and tiredness. The strengthening tea is best taken in the morning. It is used against stomach trouble, diarrhea, bloating, menstrual disorder, and coughing. Yarrow causes perspiration, helps in healing internal infection, and helps for bad kidneys. It strengthens the arteries and improves the blood circulation in hands and feet. Therefore, it is used as treatment for varicose veins. Yarrow also helps in cases of angina pectoris, because it is helping the circulation of the heart muscle. Also, this herb is recommended to stop internal bleeding. One drinks 1 to 2 cups daily, 1 full teaspoon of the tea, and pour 1/4 litre of boiling water over it. Let it settle for 3 minutes. Stinging nettle. Here in Australia, Harald has only seen the small leaf nettle, Urtica uraeus, in the wild. It can be used, but the large nettle is preferable. The nettle has, without question, many healing attributes. Father Knipe comments, "The nettle is a lifesaver." Albrecht Dürer painted an angel who was taking the nettle to God's throne to have it blessed. The nettle is such an important healing herb that it probably would have been extinct long ago had it not been for its uncomfortable means of defense. The sting contains many important minerals and vitamins, which are desperately needed by our body. It is a wonderful cleanser for the kidney, liver, bladder, and intestines, and not only cleanses the blood, but forms new blood. Nettle drives away excess fluid out of the tissues, helps with the metabolism by increasing the elimination through the kidneys, and is thus obviously the most important plant in the treatment of rheumatic ailments. Because of its diuretic properties and its influence on intestinal elimination, it is, although it stimulates the appetite, extremely successful in diet situations. The nettle aids in the cure of itchy rashes and supports the healing action in cancer cases. Together with the dandelion and sage, it lowers the blood sugar level because of its healing influence on the pancreas. Women praise the nettle because it stimulates the milk glands. A concoction of nettle roots in the bath is helpful for smokers' thrombosis, and the nettle tincture would probably be regarded as the best hair stimuli, as long as the follicles have not been totally destroyed. A cup of nettle tea is preferably drunk in the morning on an empty stomach. 1 heaped teaspoon to 1/4 litre of boiling water. Let it stand for at least 5 minutes. According to one's needs, the tea can be drunk several times a day. No negative side effects are known. To make a real nettle tincture, one needs only to immerse the roots in a solution of overproof alcohol. This is kept in a warm place for 4 to 6 weeks and is shaken thoroughly once daily. Instead of trying to destroy the plant as an annoying weed with chemicals, one should foster this precious herb, and if you should really have too much, it is advisable to cut or pull the plant out to make a valuable biological insect spray by immersing it in a large container of water. This solution, diluted 1:10, is extremely useful during plant growth as a fertilizer. It strengthens the plants, repels insects, and is known for its effect against aphids, all biological of course. Calendula. The calendula has a wide range of uses. Therefore, every garden should have calendula in it. The flowers are picked in the sunshine. The calendula is erroneously called marigold, which is a different plant altogether. Both flowers grow easily in the garden, but you should make sure you know which flower you have. The calendula is favoured by herbalists, even by doctors and professors, who highly appreciate it. Father Knipe comments, "Calendula is the best remedy for serious infections. Maria Traben has proven with the help of calendula she has helped patients that suffered from cancer. The calendula is very important for wounds. It softens and prevents scars from occurring. It also helps heal difficult wounds. It is beneficial for inflamed, swollen veins or lymph glands. It also helps regulate painful menstruations. Calendula tea works on infections in the stomach and intestines, just as it does for viruses, dropsy, and blood in the urine. Calendula is a mild laxative and should not be missed in the diet course. Calendula tea, together with horsetail, works quickly on hard-to-heal wounds. It is very important that the wound is clean, as the cream heals the skin so quickly that the wound cannot cleanse itself. Calendula cream works like a miracle. A patient of Harald Tietze had strong and painful varicose veins. He gave her blood-cleansing teas to regulate her blood flow. After 4 weeks, she started with calendula cream. She massaged the cream several times daily in her legs, and during the first week, she wrapped fresh pressed leaves around her legs. Within 2 weeks, she was free of pain, and after 6 to 8 weeks, her legs returned to a normal condition. She wrote a letter commenting that after 2 weeks she was pain-free, and later her legs were soft and normal again. Quote, "My whole well-being was better, and I continued with the herbal teas because it cleanses my blood and my health is so much improved." Harald recommended her to take the following teas: Calendula, Angelica, stinging nettle, and Speedwell, alternating them all the time. Calendula cream is excellent for serious cases of skin problems and also for athlete's foot. It is not only an excellent herb to have in the garden, it also makes the garden look colourful, and the root system aids against insects in the ground, therefore keeping the soil healthy. From the flowers you can make a tincture. You fill a glass 3/4 full of flowers and add overproof alcohol, enough to cover the flowers, shake it daily, and keep it in a warm place for 4 to 6 weeks. Calendula tincture can be used for fresh wounds. Fresh calendula juice can be used for hard-to-heal wounds, and you can make a cream by using 700 grams of unsalted butter and 300 grams calendula flowers. Cook over a low heat for 5 minutes. After 1 to 2 days, reheat and sift through aerated material. The unsifted calendula cream can be applied to varicose veins, but can only be stored for a week. Angelica. The vast healing facility of the Angelica was already recommended in a book 6,000 years ago. In many religions it is connected with the supernatural. The archangel Raphael showed the plant to a hermit so that he might cure uncurable diseases. Holy Ghost root, also tooth root or breast root, are the names it is called in German-speaking countries. Naturopaths use many of the plants which resemble sweet flag, but which is more effective in digestive disorders, heart and circulation problems to strengthen the nerves, and chronic rheumatism. Father Knipe used Angelica and said Angelica takes all bad substances out of the blood. The famous French naturopath Masig told of a man who became 120 years old because he liked to chew Angelica root. The consumption of the tea temporarily changes the taste. Alcoholism and smoking is often reduced due to the lack of taste. The archangel plant helps us to stay healthy. Angelica grows up to 2 meters and likes damp, nitrogen-enhanced loose rice soil. Calendula won't grow with Angelica. Prostawort, on the other hand, likes the company of Angelica. The whole plant can be used. A leaf tea may cure most cases, even serious cases, as with this woman. Angelican root tea is taken. 1 teaspoon per cup is left in cold water overnight. In the morning, it is warmed up, and 1/3 of the teacup is taken before every meal. This woman had a stroke 1.5 years ago, was suffering for 30 years of angina pectoris and asthma, heart congestion. Her blood pressure was extremely high, and they tried to bring it down to a normal level with chemicals. With Angelica tea and various other teas, which she takes regularly, she no longer needs to take any tablets. 3 years ago, she couldn't even do the household chores with ease. She was always tired. Today, she enjoys her garden, enjoys life, and hopefully she will continue this healthy way of life for many more years. She is Harald Tietze's mother. Harald used Angelican tea for nearly all of his patients because of its many facilities. Together with some other teas, he had allergies under control. The plant only grows 2 years. In the first year, the plant develops strong roots, which in winter one digs out. From it, one can make a tincture or rapidly dry the root in a stove at 50 to 60 degrees Celsius. It is advisable to cut the root lengthwise to guarantee a fast drying process. Then one crushes the root, for example with a mixer, to be stored in a cool place, light and airtight. This way it keeps its valuable substances for 3 to 4 years. In the following year, one cuts the new leaves and dries them, preferably on a string, and then rubs it in the hands, so you have a very healthy and aromatic tea. The seeds, which the plant has in the second year, are used in the same way as the root. It has the same healthy facility. Smokers chew the seeds when they want to stop smoking, because Angelica calms the stomach nerves, and as already mentioned, changes the taste. Therefore, it is the best remedy to get rid of smoking, so far as Harald knows. The seed loses its germination power very fast. To grow new plants, one has to put the seeds straight into the soil or store them in the deep freeze until they're used. Deep freezing promotes germination. If you have a plant in the garden, it is very easy in the next spring, when the plant is shooting, for you to divide the root. The remaining half of the plant can be used in the first year, and the leaves should be cut regularly. From the root, which is dug up, you can make root cuttings to develop new plants. The rest of the root can be used as mentioned before. This method is proved most economical. The tincture is prepared with overproof alcohol and is treated as mentioned before. If needed, one takes a teaspoonful. If you have space for only one plant in the garden, plant the Angelica. You may need it. After the seed harvest, the plant dies and should be discarded. Speedwell. From about 200 varieties of Speedwell in the world, it is only the forest Speedwell which has healing powers. Another 2 or 3 varieties can be used as vegetables. Speedwell grows very well in the garden. In Europe it is called Heal All Ailments, because there is hardly another herb in the universe with the same healing powers. The Romans favoured the herb for healing the liver, gallbladder, kidneys and blood. A herbal book from the 16th century writes, "Speedwell has the power to heal all, because it flushes all the rubbish out of the system. Because of its blood cleansing powers, it is preferred for any skin disorders." The fresh plant juice has proved itself best for chronic disorders of the skin. To rub the tincture into the skin is good for rheumatism and gout. Also, you should drink 2 cups of Angelican tea with 1 teaspoon of Speedwell tincture per day. To make the Speedwell tincture, we use the flowering herb minus the root, and treat like the tinctures mentioned before. Instead of taking it in the morning, like the other herbs, Speedwell should be taken in the evening to calm the nerves and to give a peaceful sleep. Speedwell tea not only works, but it tastes good too. Prostate. There is about 200 different types of willow herb found in the world, yet only 6 or 8 types can be used as a healing herb. The prostate is seldom heard of in herb books. It is mainly found in the Bavarian, Austrian and Swiss books. The prostate has the Latin name Epilobium roseum. It is not mentioned in English herb books, and Harald Tietze christened it the prostate because of its application and remedy of prostate problems in old men. The seed of the prostate is not only extremely difficult to obtain, but also costs as much as gold. In the early stages of the plant's growth, it is fastidious work looking after the plants, because the plant may be healthy, and then, for no reason, parts of the plant die off. The prostate is the most peculiar plant Harald has growing in his whole herb garden. It has a fibrous root system which spreads underground during the winter, and shoots come out in the springtime, which grow up to 50 centimetres high. The flowers of the prostate are on the seed pods, about 5 centimetres long, which branch off the small stems. When the seed pods open, there are white hair-like fibres visible on the seed. The wind then carries these white hairs over great distances. The flowers are harvested in sunshine and then hung out to dry in the shade. While some herbs have a wide range of use, the prostate is mainly used for bladder and prostate disorders. Father Hermann Wagner comments, "The prostate is the only remedy and the safest remedy for a diseased and inflamed prostate. A lot of elderly men suffer from this painful disorder. It causes the urine to be in small amounts, which give a burning sensation on discharge." Maria Traben comments that the prostate is the most successful remedy for kidney disorders, also in cases of tumour of the prostate and bladder, with the aid of calendula, stinging nettle and lady's bedstraw. Even in chronic cases, you should only drink 2 cups daily. You take 1 heaped teaspoon of the herb and pour 1/4 of a litre of boiling water over the herb. Let stand for 3 to 5 minutes. 1 cup should be taken before breakfast on an empty stomach, and 1 cup 1 hour before dinner at night. An improvement can be noticed within 1 or 2 weeks. One of Harald's patients used to get up 8 to 10 times during the night. Now, after taking the prostate, he only has to get up 1 to 2 times during the night. It also helps for bedwetting. A father of a family suffered with this. Prostate together with horsetail and hops cured him. Harald grows his herbs on his property on the New South Wales south coast, where something very curious is happening. Wallabies are getting over his fences and bypassing all the herbs growing there, making straight for the prostawort, a plant not native to Australia and therefore not a normal part of their diet. On closer examination, Harald discovered that it's only the older wallabies with obvious physical problems that are eating the prostawort. Why? How do they know it will help them? Why go past all the other herbs to get to this one? In Germany, deer hunters prefer to hunt where prostawort grows wild because the deer grow older in better physical condition and provide better trophies. Mother Nature obviously agrees with Harald on the beneficial effect of the prostawort. Herbs alone are not enough. You should nourish yourself naturally. Then you'll be healthy and should be of ideal weight. To be slim is to be beautiful. Slim people live longer and are healthier. Everyone knows that, everyone believes it, and everyone also wants to be slim. Standard body weight tables, some of them detailed to the nearest 100 grams, tell exactly if one is obese. Many people believe in those tables implicitly and are trying to set their goal according to those figures, without realizing that for a particular person, such a goal is unattainable or even downright unhealthy. With this in mind, one should forget about the expression slim and rather think in terms of an ideal weight for a particular person. We have different bone structures and different physical factors, and that is the reason why, for example, a man of 1.65 meters and light bone structure may have an ideal weight of 55 kilograms, while another man of the same height with heavy bone structure would have an ideal weight of 69 kilograms. Women of similar height weigh on average 4 kilograms less. It is of great importance to estimate the correct ideal weight, as we so often observe that quite normal people think they are too fat, and on the other hand, really obese people find themselves quite normal. Why do we suffer from overweight and its related health and physical problems like backache, arthritis, kidney stones, hypertension, and other problems? The answer is simple. It is our diet, in the basic sense of the word. This means what we eat and drink each day. There are an infinite number of prescriptions for diets, slimming, and even sensational solutions to the problem. It has also been claimed that you can remedy mistakes which you've made over the years, even decades, by forced methods of drastic food reduction and laxatives. These theories are regarded as dangerous and could adversely affect your health, as they are based on false propositions. The problem cannot be solved with starving. Just the opposite. As incredible as it may sound, one should have a good feed to satisfaction, but with the right kind of food. A temporary weight loss might be achieved with unbalanced, biased eating, but this could bring about problems which might be very hard to correct. After such an unnatural intake, a weight increase will occur, showing the folly of such a diet. If these forced slimming diets are repeated, the ill effects will compound, and the problem will grow more serious. It is regarded as a popular common sense fact that people with a natural weight are healthy, beautiful, perform well, enjoy life more, and will even benefit by it through to old age. If you should ask a healthy senior citizen what or which diet have you followed, you would hardly get a satisfactory answer. But if you dig a bit deeper, it emerges that he or she have fed themselves very sensibly, and mostly the produce came from their own garden. No healthy human can endure one-sided nutrition for a long period. A sick and obese person can endure it even less. Some people will say now, how about all those millions of people who only eat rice? Is that not one-sided nutrition? The answer is that rice is a whole food, one of the best, and barley is very similar. In the rice countries, people do not suffer from obesity, hypertension, or the likes, except the wealthy. If the rice is peeled or polished, it becomes fabricated. The balance of nature is being disturbed. Past experiences have shown that people cannot live on fabricated rice only, and even with double and triple rations, they become ill within a fairly short time. By the way, brown rice is an ideal food for sufferers of hypertension. Another example of the past is the Roman Empire's troops. For many months in active service in the field, Their sole food consisted of barley meal porridge. It is said that it kept them in perfect condition and highly efficient. Surely we don't want to feed on rice or barley only. This is not necessary. Quite accidentally, Harald Tietze discovered during his activities as a herbalist that one can attain an ideal weight without feeling hungry. People came to consult on their problems of high blood pressure, rheumatism, heartburn, stomach ulcers, indigestion, and many more. In order to help them, he gave them a variety of fresh, blood-cleansing, laxative herb teas, as well as easy-to-follow advice on more sensible eating habits. It became apparent at the next consultation that not only had the complaints disappeared, but the clients also reported some pleasing positive side effects: a sensation of more joy in living and an urge for more activities. Before they had this course of teas, they had been too lethargic to do any exercise in the fresh air, and now felt the urge to do light exercise, sports, and garden work. The recipe for success is the most basic one can imagine. It has been proven over thousands of years. Thick volumes of books could be reduced on this subject to just 2 words: eat natural. For most of us these days, it is virtually impossible to obtain only unprocessed natural products, and it's not absolutely necessary. Yet the following rules should be considered. Reduce your intake of refined flours and their products, for example, white bread, pasta, cakes, etc. Likewise, all manufactured kinds of sugar products, irrespective if white or brown, for example, glucose, fruit sugar, malt sugar, even foodstuffs sweetened with either, like cakes, jams, chocolate, cookies, ice cream, fats like margarine and ordinary oils. One should also limit sterilized food items, like tin food of any kind, boiled vegetables, boiled or pasteurized milk, preserved fruit, and other such foods. One's daily diet should contain 3 tablespoons of fresh grain mash, a variety of wholemeal breads, fresh vegetables, adding up to at least 1/3 of the total food quantity, and then also natural fats like butter, cold milled oils, as well as nuts and linseed. One should reserve 1 day a week as a vegetarian or raw food day. Furthermore, it is most important to drink liberally clear, clean, unboiled tap water or mineral waters. Milk is not a beverage, but liquid food. Honey may be used with discretion, but should not be eaten in concentrated form. One should have 3 meals a day, but never snacks in between, not even in minute quantities. It is also most important to have daily exercises, jogging, cycling, swimming, and like activities, in order to improve the blood oxygen exchange. The previously mentioned fresh grain mash is to be produced from a mixture of rye, wheat, barley, linseed, oats, and millet. 3 tablespoons of this mixture, about 60 grams, roughly ground in a food processor. Do not produce more for storage. This ground cereal mixture is to be stirred to a pulp and left to rest for 10 to 12 hours. Add only the amount of water which will be absorbed and no more. Fresh fruit, whatever's in season, will be added after the settling time, as well as lemon juice, an occasional teaspoonful of honey, 1 tablespoon of cream, ground nuts, and other ingredients, all within the above guidelines. Of the considerable variety of Harald Tietze recipes for fresh grain mash, the above seems to be the most popular one. Based on his experiences, it is felt that counting calories can be valuable, but one should never follow it blindly. He had noted during elaborate experiments with animals that the no-calories artificial sweetener saccharin greatly increased their weight gain. This phenomenon could not be explained, but it did in fact happen. This shows in a practical way that pure calorie thinking can lead to the opposite results. Other calorie-free formulae have similar successes in further fattening experiments with animals. People regularly do ask which herb teas would be the best for slimming purposes. However, there is no one answer, because there are so many side effects to be considered. An experienced practitioner can only counsel and advise a particular person individually. Do-it-yourself treatment would only be advised if a person is really well informed in the application of medical herbs. Many good books have been written on the subject, but there's no point in reading about herbs unavailable in Australia. Within a year, herbs have usually lost their effectiveness, so caution is advised when importing them. Harald Tietze recommends a book which was a bestseller in the German language, selling 2 million copies, and is now available in English and 5 other languages. Health Through God's Pharmacy by Maria Traben. She describes in her book a number of herbs in great detail and gives examples of applications. She also gives simple directions of how to make your own tinctures and ointments. It is pleasing to note that one can cultivate nearly all of her specified, about 30 herbs, here in Australia. She recommends, among others, for example, to drink corn silk tea when overweight. Corn silk tea promotes urination and is a very effective and harmless slimming and defattening agent. Corn silk tea must be very well dried for storage, as otherwise it will lose its urine-promoting quality and only act as a laxative. It is noteworthy that Maria Traben also applied this tea in cases like heart-water problems, oedemas, stone formations, kidney and bladder inflammations, gout, and more. The following 2 examples demonstrate how slimming works. A 60-year-old truck driver was prematurely retired on medical grounds. His blood pressure was up to 220, he weighed 117 kilograms, and he suffered from liver problems, indigestion, heart problems, etc., and his doctor advised against long-distance air travel. He followed the above diet rules fairly consistently, but did nibble occasionally in between. For blood pressure and circulation, he drank alternatively Angelica tea, leaf tea only, and once weekly, half a teaspoon in a cup of wormwood tea, strictly not to be taken more frequently. Also hawthorn tea, and of course, the garlic was a must. For his other complaints, he drank the following teas: yarrow, corn silk, elder, horsetail, sage, speedwell, calendula, to name only a few. Now this man, who has had great difficulty in climbing stairs or walking uphill, weighs only 80 kilograms after 1 year. He felt like a young man, participated in sports, and his negative, depressive moods changed to enjoying life, and he even got the travel bug. And now, after about 15 months, he still weighs 80 kilograms and has even moved in with a girlfriend. True. Another case, a 21-year-old lady suffered from enormous obesity. She wrote to Harald Tietze, quote, "I had no initiative, I had no energy, and I felt that I was ugly, and I thought that I could never lose weight. I loved food too much, always felt hungry, and suffered depressions. Her parents nagged her constantly, which of course did not solve the problem. Then she followed the previously described diet guidelines, and also drank, alternatively mornings and evenings, a cup of the following teas: Angelica, wormwood, only 1 cup a week, yarrow, corn silk, speedwell, nettles, and calendula." Her letter continues, "To my greatest amazement, I did start to lose weight, slowly but steadily, and I regained self-confidence. I gained energy, could skip meals, observed myself losing weight consistently without starving. I began to feel fantastic and rejoiced in living." When he recently saw that young lady again, Harald Tietze was really surprised. Instead of that obese person, he observed a vibrantly happy young woman. She has changed to great advantage, but the parents are still nagging, now for another reason. As they could not persuade her to leave the house before, now she goes dancing all night until morning, and if possible, the next night too. In the next film, we will talk about how people who are suffering from the diseases help themselves. For example, hernia and collapse of the womb, which healed itself within only a few weeks. Also for relief of rheumatism through certain herbs, and knife baths and high blood pressure lowered through herbs. We will also be talking about other natural means of healing, including acupuncture, homeopathic medicine, acupressure, and reflexology therapies to help yourself.
My name is Hans Raustorff. I have been suffering from allergy for the past 23 years. With the help of Harald Tietze's herbs, it was possible to bring the suffering under control.
My name is Hildegard Raustorff. I have been suffering from very high blood pressure. Since I'm taking hawthorn and motherwort, my blood pressure is normal and I don't have to take any more tablets.
The video you have just seen sought to demonstrate the beneficial application of herbs to various disorders in the human body. but it is stressed that the contents of this video are in no way a substitute for personal supervision by qualified professional medical personnel. People with health problems should consult their physician.